Hello and welcome back to our channel GeoIng, where we discuss various topics related to geography, English and other subjects. In today's video, we are going to discuss a very popular sonnet, Loving in Truth by Philip Sidney. So let's get started. Alright. Before directly dealing with the text, we are going to have a little background about Sidney's sonnet and the sonnet sequence, right? So this is a sonnet sequence, a sonnet from the sonnet sequence known as Astrophil and Stella, which was published in 1591, and it has 108 sonnets and 11 songs, right? And the word Astrophil is a Greek word which means star lover, and the word Stella is a Latin word which means star. And Astrophil is obviously Sidney himself, and Stella represents Penelope Deverox, and who was betrothed to Sidney, but she got married to somebody else known as Lord Rich, right? So the whole of the sonnet sequence is addressed to Stella, and it is a sonnet sequence of unrequited love, because obviously Sidney is in love with Penelope, and Penelope cannot return back the same, and therefore Sidney is in great pain. The sonnet that we are going to discuss today is sonnet number 1, right? And which is known as Loving in Truth. Yeah, the rhyming scheme of the poem is A B A B A B A B C B C D E E, right? It has a Petrarchan sonnet type, and the octave part, that is the first 8 lines, depicts the speaker's love for Penelope Deverox, and he wants to write a beautiful verse in order to entertain his lady love. And the sestet part depicts the failure that he meets, and obviously the realization that true poetic inspiration comes from one's heart only, and you cannot write a poem by just studying so much of other poets, right? You can write poetry only when you are truly inspired, and that inspiration comes from your heart only. When your heart tells, you can write poetry, right? So now dealing with the text. Loving in truth and fain in verse my love to show. The speaker is saying that I'm in love, I'm in true love, but I want to express my love by writing a verse, but I'm failing to do so, right? And she might take some pleasure of my pain. Pleasure might cause her read. Reading might make her know. Knowledge might pity win, and pity grace obtain. It is a very beautiful poem, you know. The speaker is in love, and he wants to show his love by writing verse. So that she, here the lady love, dear she, he is in so much love that he is saying that not only she but dear she, right? To express his love, he is saying dear she, and that dear she, here Penelope, can take some pain, means she can read the poetry, to take some pain, take out some time from her busy schedule, and she can read the poetry, and by reading the poetry she might know that how much love Astrophel has for her, and that knowledge that Astrophel is truly in love with her might make her pity, right? She might be pitiful towards Astrophel, and by having pity she might be graceful, and that pity might give some grace to Astrophel. And I sought fit words to paint the blackest face of woe. So Astrophil, or the speaker, is finding some words, right, by going through the pages of other poets' poetry, and he wants to paint his woe, Blackest face of Oo. He is in so much pain that the Oo is personified, and the Oo is said that the Oo's face has turned black, right? Means he is in very, very pain. Studying inventions, find her wits to entertain. So he is studying a lot. He is studying new inventions, that is new poetry, so that he might write something, and that writing might entertain the lady love. Of turning others' leaves, that is again turning the uh, pages of others' poetry, to see if then should flow some fresh and fruitful showers upon my sunburnt brain. Unfruitful kind of brain where there is no poetic inspiration, therefore it said sunburnt brain. And he is turning the others' poetries to see whether he can find some inspiration, whether he can find some source, and then he can write some fruitful poetry, right? But words came halting forth. He cannot write, wanting inventions stay. He he knows that he has to write himself. There is a lack of invention. There is a lack of inspiration. Invention, nature's child. Invention is nature's child. You cannot imitate it. There is no artificiality in invention. Fled stepdame studies blow. Stepdame means stepmother type, right? And here, when the speaker is studying others' poetry is compared to a stepmother. A stepmother is beating a son or a daughter, and the daughter or the son is fleeing away from the stepmother. Right here, others' poetry is considered to be stepdame, and when this speaker is reading others' poetry, then the invention, his in his own inspiration is fleeing from, and there is nothing coming out of that, nothing fruitful coming out of that. And others' feet still seemed but strangers in my way. Others' poetry, others' lines are still strangers. Why? Because he cannot find inspiration in others' poetry. Thus great with child to speak and helpless in my throats. He wants his inspiration, his invention wants to speak, but it is not coming out totally. Biting my truant pain, beating myself for spite. Truant means a bad schoolboy who is fleeing from the school. The pain when he is about to write, he cannot write. As if the pain he wants to flee away from the poet. Right. So the pain is considered to be truant, and the poet, as because the speaker, as because he cannot write properly, he is biting out of spite. Right. Fool, said my muse to me, look into thy heart and write. So ultimately, the muse of poetry comes and says that you have to look into your heart and then you have to write. Inspiration or everything is lying inside your heart, inside you. You yourself can write. You cannot write poetry or any line even by reading others. You can read others' poetry, others' lines, but inspiration you have to find it inside yourself. So this is the summary or explanation of the poem. I hope you like the video. If you like it, please share, subscribe to our channel, and thank you so much.